Hello everybody and welcome to an Alpha 6 tutorial on Rimworld from Ludion Studios. So I'm going to be going over some new features that he doesn't cover in his video, and I know a lot of people I know that play the game are having issues with learning the game because there's really no tutorial. I haven't really looked on YouTube for any videos, but we're just going to go over some things quick. So he has added a create world feature to the new thing, so you can randomize your seed. You can change the size of the map. So 6 UTA is my map seed I'm going to generate. Take a little bit here to generate. Sorry. So as you can see here, Sulosian Meridiana. You can see the map here. You can change the modes, elevations, rainfall, temperatures, biomes. So if I just want to see biomes, you see that, elevation, rainfall, you can see full. Click on the map, see where it is. So we're going to save and finish. We're going to go to a new colony. Now he has only 3 of the AI storytellers now compared to, I believe, the 4 he used to have. And now you can also choose the difficulty over here as well. This basically just, with the AI storyteller, sets the curve and algorithm for how your story progresses and such. So Randy will just randomly throw events at you of randomness, but over here will actually determine the size of the threats he sends you, aka the raids and such. So if you're in builder mode, raids will be kind of fairly small, casual, a little bit bigger. Challenge is usually they're normal. So if you leave it on challenge, it's exactly 100% of how it normally is. You can add 30% to it or 60% to make the raids bigger. I'll leave it on challenge because I play Randy normally. Now as you can see here, Sarir Al-Shat is my other map, but for this we'll use Meridiana. Unfortunately this takes a little bit to load as I'm using Fraps, which for some reason my computer doesn't appreciate here. I'm going to zoom in here. So as you can see, you can click around different biomes, you can water, ocean, stuff like that. So I don't want flat. I would like, okay, so temperate forest, mountains, decent amount of rainfall. Let's go to advanced. Let's go with our map size 325 by 325. We're going to select a site. So as you can see here, we have the different character menus. Now, I used to try to go with having somebody who has a decent research and either has interest or passion in it. Then I try to go for a constructor and a grower if possible, or mining. That's kind of up to you guys. And then I usually have somebody that's really good at shooting. For this video, I'm going to leave it as is. Actually, wow, okay, so this is actually a pretty good setup we have here right away. So you can actually change their names. So in this case I'm going to use my real name, as my real name actually is in this game if you can find it. I had kickstarted this game and got my name put into the game. So it would actually come up as my full name here, Nelson Ramos, and the middle is actually Nelly, because that is the nickname that most people actually use for me. But here we're going to go with, let's see, a female name. We're going to go with Jenna Taco. Yes, Jenna Taco, and her nickname will be what should her name be? We'll call her Blondie. There we go. Now, so there's another female. Let's see, we'll go with a real friend of mine. I can't use her last name, so name, and we will go with that. Now, the traits are actually now in-game, so the traits actually do affect your characters now. So you need to be careful that when you're choosing your character, that you look at them, see what exactly it is, see what they're incapable of, because now some of the incapable of is very important. if you're incapable of medicine, social, stuff like that, that will actually really affect your game, because you really need medicine to help your colonists since they're going to be getting injured. We have a good medicine. Okay, so that's really good. Now who's my shooter? So Blondie will be the shooter. Okay, so let's start this. Let's generate the map. Sorry guys, I haven't posted a lot of videos lately. My internet speed has gotten worse. I'm now only to a 2 megabits per second download speed and a 0.45 upload speed. So it's pretty bad, and it takes me a while to upload. And my other video recording software decided that it wanted to stop working for some unknown reason. So I don't freaking know. It just likes to piss me off randomly. Plus I've been doing a lot of work on our independent Minecraft server as head admin, and then I had some real life issues that I went away for a bit, and then I started playing some more DayZ and became a mod on an awesome server called Zex Gaming. That is xexgaming.com. Check us out if you play some Overpoch. Amazing servers, great staff, love the guys, love playing on the servers. So you all know the story by now. Spaceship explodes and fall to a planet. So load everybody in. Load everybody in. Okay. So I'm gonna hit F. Double click highlights everything. Easy way just to highlight everything at once. Get everything set up. Weapons. That's a pistol and that's a pistol. So Blondie, you're gonna clip the Lee. You're gonna clip the pistol. And I noticed that the pistols actually do change, but the Lee is usually the one that stays every time. Holy mother of God, I have a lot of money and stuff. Wow, this actually is a very nice spawn. So yeah, we're actually going where do we want to set up shop? Well, I'll look on it while I'm explaining stuff to you guys. So you got your orders, your mining, your haul, your cut plants, your chop wood, hunt, plan, remove plans, and claim. Planning is very nice to have, as it allows you to pre-plan things before you shut it down and then be like, oh, you know what, I actually don't like this, I don't want to do it, and then have to go back and change everything. It is a huge pain in the butt. I should know, because I constantly just throw things down, don't plan ahead, and then I'm like, oh, I just screwed myself, great, I wasted all those resources, because you don't get back 100% of the resources that you usually do. You got your structures, your power doors, your wood doors, walls, logs, metal walls, such, your furniture of different types, your security measures, your floors, your ship piece that you need to start building your ship, your zones, your power, your production, your miscellaneous decorations. So there's the power, there's the miscellaneous, and there's the decoration. Now you're going to need to start by setting up your zones. Zones are very important, and those are the very first things you want to set up after you find out your base location. And I do believe I'm actually going to be setting up my base location probably right here around this herbiderp, around this geyser, because I really need to have a geyser, because in my opinion solar generators just stink, because you lose power with them quite often. Nighttime, thunderstorms, solar eclipse, all that kind of stuff. So I always go for geo first, and then after geo you can set up some solar if you want, just to help out, as it is cheaper, metal and such. So as we're doing that, we're going to go over some things that have been added to this. This is a tutorial actually for a buddy of mine who recently got into the game and was having issues trying to learn how to play. He was really struggling, and I can understand, because this game really does not give you any tutorial video at all. It doesn't give you anything. It's quite aggravating. So this is basically just going to be going through how to set up your stockpile zones, how to change what exactly is put into storage allowed in there. I'm going to actually pause this quick. Going over the side thing here, and it's just going to be going over some of the research, health, character, gear, thoughts, and then the second video will be going over how I preferably set up bases to get you a decent setup so that you can survive for a while, the envelope system over here that pops up, more in-depth into other things, as well as the ship, the health system a lot more, and stuff like that, also showing you some gameplay. So here, if you click on storage, you can go here, you can change the priority, you can change what's in here. So I usually have a stockpile of just food. Manufactured. No, we don't want manufactured in there. We want only foods. Now, you want to make sure that you pay attention under meat what is in there. I always click off human meat because we don't want human meat in there. We don't want rotten meat in there. We don't want apparel in there. We don't want... You know what? No, we can throw corpses in there. We only want the animal corpses in there so you can cook them in the food. So there's a nice stockpile for that. And now we want to get another stockpile for resources. So how about we set up a nice resource stockpile over here of half decent size. Now this doesn't need to have food, so we will get rid of food. Raw resources we will keep, manufactured we will keep. We don't want to allow rot in there. I usually tend to make my own stockpile for weapons, but you can throw it in there if you want. So just for the sakes, we'll throw that in there. We will not throw chunks in there. We will throw mechanoid corpses in there, no humans. We will not allow buried corpses. So apparel, weapons, mechanoid corpses will be going in there, as well as manufactured and raw resources. So this will be actually quite a big stockpile. Now if you want, you can rename it to different stockpiles, which I usually do. I label my food, my resources, my weapon, and then my corpse pile. Now for corpses, you want to keep them away from everybody. Keep them far away where nobody's going to have the chance of running into it, where they're not going to see it and be like, oh, there's a body in here, why? I'm sad, I saw a body, oh my god. Freak out, because it will affect your people's happiness and eventually they can leave. So let's click on this, let's go to storage. Rotten, sure, because obviously corpses are going to rot. Humanoid corpses is fine. Okay, so we have that set up. So now we need to go to a dumping zone. Dumping zone is basically where you throw things you're not really going to use at the moment. I tend to do it with stones. So what I'm going to do is make a wall here out of stones, so it slows down any enemies coming in that way. So let's go here. You don't need any corpses. You want to go to chunks. Chunks are rock chunks and slag chunks. Rock chunks are these here, and the slag chunks, as you will see if you are new, are these right here. These are slag chunks. You can later research a slag machine to refine that into actual metals, which is good. I'm just going to get that quick, and that. Okay, so that's done. Now let's go to our last zone that we really need, which is the growing zone. The growing zone can only be put on dirt/grass areas. So we're going to get a growing zone set up, and I'm going to keep it close to my food. So let's do that. Let's do that. And you know what? We're going to have 4. Don't really need 4, but that's what we're going to do. We're also going to haul this crap away. Haul that away as well. So we're going to keep them in a nice orderly fashion. Click on it. Get rid of potato plant. Let's go to strawberry plant. Go here. Strawberry plant again. You also have rose, daylily, dandelions, oak tree, poplar. So you can farm trees once you run out in the air if need be. So we got that. Okay. Now another little thing you can do is if you go to zones, just make just little growing zones, and you can change them and put in flowers. So I could make a daylily, a rose, or dandelions, and it will actually add to the vicinity and make it prettier, make them, your colonists, happier and such. But I usually don't do that. So that's done. Okay, what next? So we have our zones done, we have our location. We know where we're setting up our power. So you want to get your geothermal generator going. Boom, that's up. Okay, then what I tend to do is go into my orders and plan out stuff. So we'll just set up a little room here for eating out of and stuff, and power to go into. So that's done. So we've covered zones and what they do. We've covered what do you want to do first with the power and how the plans work. So now next we want to go over what cut plants do. Cut plants, you can just highlight something and it will cut the plant. You will harvest that plant. It will not come back. So if I cut this bush here to get the berries, it'll give me the berries, but the bush will disappear, will not regrow. If I harvest, it will harvest the bush and allow it to continue to regrow berries, which is a nice early way to get some food if need be, if your plants aren't growing fast enough, if you start running low because your plants either had a blight and they're ruined and stuff like that. The next thing you need to do would be to get beds for your people, so sleeping spots. For now we're just going to throw them side by side. As you can see, the sleeping pod over here went away. Now it's telling you to build a room. Some of the priors over here you don't need to worry about. They're not in a huge rush. I have half the time set up defenses over there for quite a while. The difference between beds, there is none. There is no bed besides the fact that a royal bed takes 60 metal and a bed takes 20 wood. They don't do anything really different. They don't make your people happier, stuff like that. It's just for looks. Same with metal stool, wood stool, tables, standing lamp. Standing lamp you want to put in mostly all your rooms that your people will constantly be in, because they don't like being in the dark. So I usually tend to put them in their rooms, and then when they leave for the day I turn them off to just save power. Production, you want to get a nutrient paste dispenser in as soon as possible once that's built. With the nutrient paste dispenser you want to put the hoppers in so that they can access them. So you want to put, as you can see, there's like two little cutout marks. You want to put them facing the dispenser and they will be loaded. Now you also want to make sure that you click the hoppers after they're made so that you turn off human meat, because you don't want that going in there. You would actually have to make the human meat in order for the people to be able to eat it, but I turn it off just because that fluke. A new feature is claim neutral structures for the colony, including ancient ruins and abandoned siege bases. So these bases can be repaired and maintained by our colony. So I would assume if I say, hey, okay, we can't claim that, so I'm not quite sure if the ancient ruins are in yet. I wonder if there's something that's going to be added. I figured ancient ruin to be buildings like this, where they have the walls, but they're not up yet. The siege, the abandoned siege bases are basically raid events sometimes that they'll land resources, or bring resources I should say, to set up a siege base to be able to bombard your place and basically screw you over with mortars. Okay, so what's next? So let's go over, let's see, the thoughts. Thoughts here you can see, there's your mood. Down over here is basically what is affecting your colonists at this moment. So they have a 35 happiness to their mood, and that expires in 9.9 days. Your mood is basically how happy obviously your colonists are to stay. This is affected by a lot of things. If it gets down to this orange bar, which is different for everybody, usually they will have a mental break. They'll go on a rampage. They can burn things, just leave your colony. They can destroy your crops, shoot your other colonists, break things, basically go nuts. It's always random. So as you can see here, they had a social chat with someone and now they got two. So you can see here this white bar, that is where their happiness will be going to. So that should be, I believe, probably 85%, and this is telling me how far it's going up. Now they're in an ugly environment. This place is unpleasant. It's giving them -5. So something around here is making Blondie not happy. I'm going to assume the fact that there's all this just plain dirt. There's rubble. If I go over here, just rough stone. Need to get rid of that. There's patches of dirt and soil and stuff. So we could basically decide to build a zone and help with that. So right now we have on automatic adding home regions around new constructions. I turn that off. I do not like having that on. It just really makes things unnecessarily complicated when you have home zones. I like being able to put in my own and designate exactly where I want them. I usually have a nice decent size around everything so that everything's covered. I'm going to do a little bit more. So there we go. So you don't need to worry about roof regions. That's more advanced. I'll get that into later episodes of this, maybe third or fourth. We'll be going over in probably second or third. We'll be going over the butcher table, the cook stove, the different batteries, graves, all that kind of stuff, sun lamps. So overall trade beacon, everything inside this white circle will be what you use to trade with. So we want to put that there. So I'm actually going to cancel that because I don't want that built yet. But over here on the left, you'll see what you have in your trader stockpiles. Well, in your stockpile. So right here is our main stockpile. So once we get wood in there or stone bricks or whatever, it'll pop over here on the left. So if it's inside the white circle, you can use that to trade. So what I'm actually going to do here is I believe I can do a little bit of a cheat. Might not be able to. Might actually have to do that with something different. Yeah, I cannot change that here. So I'll have to do that at some other time to be able to show you certain things. I'll do that for the next video. So next you want to look at so you have all that set up. We'll go over gear. So gear, everybody will have a different gun that they end up picking up, or you order them to pick up. They'll have different apparel. Everybody has a door key to get access to doors. What they're wearing affects their damage absorption, their movement speed, their damage reduction, and stuff like that. So Cassie here has a damage absorption of +4% and a move speed of -3% because she has a jacket, but she also has a button-down shirt. Blondie has a damage absorption of +2% because she has a button-down shirt, and my character has a +1% damage absorption because all he has is a t-shirt, unfortunately, so that kind of stinks. The health system here is something that was recently added. If you watch his update video, he goes into depth about all this, tells you exactly what it does, all that kind of stuff. So food and rest, that's all based on your character. That you can't do anything about that. That's going to be them. So the health system actually is more realistic. They have made it very realistic. This is something I have not seen in a lot of games. Well, I shouldn't say in a lot of games. I haven't seen this actually in any game. They've gone very in-depth to this. Everything that gets damaged here will actually really mess up your colonists. So you need to take care and really need to pay attention to your colonists. So let's say Blondie gets shot, okay, and she takes damage to her heart, to her arm, to her leg, and well, now she's crippled. She's not going to be able to walk very well. She's going to be slower because her leg's injured. She won't be able to build as fast because her arm's injured. Her blood filtration, her blood pumping is going to be messed up because she got a shot to the heart. And that's not good. You actually can get these injuries to be permanent. If your medicine person, your medic, who decides to heal them with the med kit isn't very good, they can mess up and not heal the person very well. So they could be permanently crippled. Permanently crippled with a limp that makes them slower, a messed up arm that they build slower. They could have their sight messed up, and that could become permanent and not allow them to see very well, and their shooting could go down. Their working will be affected. They could get a blow to their throat or something, affecting their eating, so they might end up starving to death because of it. Or it'd be like, okay, well, do I really want to keep this colonist around? They're basically a burden to the colony. They can't really do much. They're extremely slow. They're having a hard time eating. So you need to think, okay, can I sell this colonist to a slave ship, or do I basically just put her out of her misery because she's just slowly dying and there's nothing I can do about it because it's permanent? It's very amazing. I do like it. That's a lot of realism to this. I do think that's good. For new players, it's going to be kind of difficult to get used to everything, but in the end, it adds a lot of in-depth quality, I feel, and the injuries list will pop up here. Now, let's see what else. You can go into character. You can rename the colonist now, which I love. You can't change their first and last name, but you can change what you call them and what it'll appear here. So if I change this from Blondie to Let's say we'll change it from Blondie to Example. Okay, her name is now Example. So that's cool. You can come back in here to see their backstory, what they're incapable of, their traits, and what they have passions for and stuff, which is nice. Next we'll go into the overview quick. You'll see their overview of Colony. This right here is a big part of what people, I noticed, have an issue with when they start learning to play, because they don't understand why their colonists are doing certain things over others. Higher priority is on the left, lower priority is on the right. So let's say I give Blondie there the order to go hunt something, but let's say she's my only colonist, and I gave her the order to go hunt something, and then I give her the option that she needs to mine some stuff, okay? She's going to do the hunting before she does mining, because hunting is higher on the priority list than mining. As soon as she takes care of whatever she needed to hunt, she will go do the mining. So what I do is I specifically turn off cooking and hunting. I also turn off art because they're not necessary, same with cleaning. And I usually make sure I only have the main researcher, because everything else is important. So we want to get everybody on repairing. We only want to have one person on growing and plant cutting at the moment, as we only have 3 colonists. Crafting is important at the moment. Cleaning is important at the moment, that's why I turn that off. I normally just turn everything off and designate somebody a cleaner every now and again, just to clean up everything in my home region. Mining, we'll keep 2 people there. Oh, we'll turn it off because that's going to be the plant cutter. We want them plant cutting. We're going to turn off construction. So we want Cassie to focus on growing and plant cutting at the moment, and then she can start hauling stuff. We want to get Example to be our main focus of construction and mining at the moment. Azazel, we want to focus on, let's see, we could do really whatever, but we'll get focused on hauling. So we could also do with, let's see, with mining here. So we'll do that. Okay, next, factions. Everything will be random in here. You could start with 4 people being friendly or neutral and 1 hostile, or you could have all hostile or neutral, but you will always have at least 1 person you're hostile with, always. That's a guarantee. So I'm playing Randy Random. I've got 4 hostile and 1 neutral. That usually is what happens to me anyway. So as you can see here, minus 95, minus 45, 49, 0. It shows you who they're enemies with. If they happen to attack at the same time, sometimes they will attack each other. I've seen it. It's pretty cool. Same if the family stream is visiting you and one of these guys attack, they will actually help you attack them, which is pretty cool. You can click the eye to get information on whoever it is, you know, tribe, band, pirate band, stuff like that. The world, you can see the world that you're living on, the continent. You can see your history of wealth or population or colonist moods, and you can see your statistics of colony wealth in items and buildings, the challenge scale, your storyteller, any major threats you've had, enemy raids, damage taken, how many colonists have been killed. I'm going to assume that it contributes to your colonists that you've gotten killed, and not that you've killed, because I believe that consumes enemy raids, and how many colonists you've launched into space. So that covers about the basics of setting everything up and getting you playing. Everything else you can kind of learn on your own. You don't need me to tell you how to do research. You don't need me to tell you how to build everything. That's all up to you. But I've covered the basics of setting up your zones, setting up the growing. I've given you the basic startups that I do to get me started, to get me living, basically. I've gone over gear. I've gone over your character. I've gone over the health system and the injuries and how they can affect you. I've gone over the mood. I've gone over how the trading thing works there. So I'm going to end the video here, and I will catch you guys next time.